a thing or two about the Neon magazine. Cordial welcome, Anna. Hello? Okay, I think I have to go back here. I would like to provide you with a keyhole perspective of our organization. I'm not only editor-in-chief of our original magazine, but also of Neon. How did it all come about? So this is a case in point of how Gruner and Jahr ticks. Many of you experienced Mr. Stefer, managing director of Gruner and Jahr, on stage. And during the summer of last year, I said that I want to do Neon. I want to do storytelling for Neon. Our target group is online, and therefore we have to develop this magazine online, else we will fall by the wayside. And Mr. Schäfer grinned at me and said, go about it. He gave me some money and said, I'm expected you will be ready by January. But unfortunately, or fortunately, a few weeks later, I was asked to act as editor-in-chief of Stern.de, and this brought me into a lot of conflict because I wanted to do Neon, but I also wanted to do Stern. And then we decided that we would do Neon and that we would attach it to the Stern.de web presence. And I think this was the smartest move ever, to say we do not found our own newsroom, but we use the existing newsroom, the existing infrastructure of this newsroom in order to find a department where we also take care of Neon as a brand. So we looked for a 5-off team. We had 65 people working in the background. My editors from Stern, and they provided their invaluable editorial support and all their interests, and they really promoted the product. They promoted it to this day. How do you go about launching such a project other than looking for a team? Of course, first of all, you have to do a lot of pre-analysis. You have to deal a lot with the market, with the brand, but of course also with the target group in mind. Talking about the brand, so the Neon brand is still very appealing and attractive. More than 24% of millennials are familiar with the brand, beating all the other pertinent brands. So there are some smaller brands, such as Finery, that I didn't even mention. Many want to get into touch with the younger generation, but Neon is the most popular brand. And then it is also about finding the millennials. How can we reach them with our product? Also in this respect, thank God, we were, not able to score points with the digital side of things in 2017. But we have always been very active on social networks, looking at the entire market and our competitors. We've been the brand having the highest social media reach. This is extremely important because the millennials are very active on social networks. They are the kiosk of digital journalism. So readers used to browse newspaper shelves, and nowadays they browse social media pages, they browse their timelines, they are looking for attractive topics, and this is why it is totally important to be present there and to lead from the front. And then, of course, it is also about the target group in very specific terms, who reads our contents and what drives this target group, the millennials. And then we did intense research. Then we tasked the Rheingold study. We did high-quality psychological surveys, and we also did reader surveys, and we arrived at very surprising results and insights that we can now work with. And I brought 5 of these insights to you. First, millennials absolutely saturated because they do not only obtain information on classic journalist brand, but about everything that is out there. They obtain a lot of information about their social networks, role models, friends, families, for example. They do it via social networks, and they are no longer familiar with the value of a journalist brand because the information is out there. It's everywhere. They do not need Stern or Spiegel anymore, and they're very skeptical vis-a-vis media. There is a lack of trust. How do we react to this situation? So everything that we do happens at a level playing field. It's not a school mommy-ish finger-wagging approach, so we are very transparent about why we do research, why we tell stories, and we also broach unpleasant topics. So we do not display arrogance, so we are not condescending, but we act on a level playing field. I brought some examples. So in order for you to see that I actually walk the talk. We talked about the new album of Revolverhell, the German group. We didn't like it too much. We thought it was too mainstream, but wanted to find an approach in order not to hate them and to diss them. And then we developed the story that René Pascal, one of our editors, a total fan of hip-hop, took a closer look at the album and said that I will meet them, I will listen to the music, and the outcome was a very interesting piece, but the result was still that Revolverheld was not his cup of tea. Second insight, millennials want to take part very actively. There was a lot of talk about this yesterday evening. We talked about civil participation. And this is something that this generation also wants to do. My parents used to take to the streets. This is also that still happens today, but young people go different places. They go to these places, and we all know how much comment is going on, how much discussion is going on. For example, about the events in Spain, Donald Trump, and on these events, for example, we had more than 15,000 comments on our pages. These people need to find a platform in order to exchange experiences, exchange information, and to feel at home. We act as team leaders. We do not only want to tell stories. We are a brand that writes stories for an entire generation. We want to act as the voice of a generation. These are a few cases in point of readers that were sent to us. Some readers that made it to our page, so we interact a lot with our community. Third insight, millennials are looking for guidance, and many in the surveys told us that they feel very insecure and that they're very disaffected with the media, with politicians. They want to know what is going on. So this means, how do we react to that? We do not shy away from broaching unpleasant subjects. Of course, we are not smart aleck. We do not know everything, and together with our users, we are searching for answers, for solutions, and provide them with a sense of belonging. We also do a lot of trials on our pages, and these are often the most popular op-ed pieces, and we publish many things that were striking, so it's not all bright and cozy. A colleague of mine went on a very spectacular vacation. He wanted to go to Belarus. He wanted to have a totally new experience, but he didn't post anything when he was on vacation. We asked ourselves what happened, and then he came back and said it was horrible. There was nothing much to report, basically. Nothing happened. So then he gave us a very, very honest account why it is not actually worthwhile from his point of view to go to Belarus. Fourth insight, millennials are everywhere, and they are online. They're always online, no matter if they are urban or rural dwellers. This is totally important, and this distinguishes us from the offer that you normally get on these pages. We do not only tip with hacks for urban dwellers, but we also deal with topics that are interesting for university students in small towns, and also for the young rural population, because there are so many topics that are relevant for these young people, hobbies that they have. Netflix, for example, you can watch Netflix from everywhere, but also things, how do I provide for old age pension, for example, but also many political subjects that are important to millennials. This is why we not only write about rooftop bars in Berlin, but we also introduce people who are single, and we also introduce, for example, small town restaurants and bars. And the fifth and last insight is that the young generation is driven by fear. This is something that came as a total surprise, because we had always perceived them as very confident, but it tells us that they live in politically turbulent times. They live in times where they do not only fear for their livelihood because they are overwhelmed by a plethora of opportunities, but they are scared of war, they are scared of environmental catastrophes. So they grapple with many fears. How do we react to that? We try to be very positive in our outlook on the world. We try to provide them with guidance, a sense of belonging. We try to take insecurities away from them, try to provide them with solutions, with proposals. We try to provide them with advice for each and every situation. We try to guide them through their day. We are the first coffee in the morning if you had a bad night's sleep. We are the gin tonic before you will have a good night's sleep when your day was crap. And we will also listen to you. And if you need some guidance in between, these are just other cases in point, stories that are very encouraging and inspiring to maybe embark on a different career path. So you heard many cases in point, many examples, and this is something that is totally important. The stories that we do are extremely important. Yesterday, we always heard that content is king, something to which I totally subscribe, but what is also very important is the team that works behind the scenes. The team is king. Who does neon? Who works behind the scenes? These are my 5 superheroes. This is my neon team. This is Jule Schulte. She does Instagram stories. She doesn't mince her words. She does extremely smart comments. She's young. She is totally fearless. Then we have Sarah Stendl on our team. She relies on stronger principles. She is the feminist in our newsroom. She knows a lot about society, culture, but she's also our expert for both podcasts. Soa. He writes the best articles. During the time he worked for us, he wrote 2 novels. He has just a genuine passion for writing. But for him, it's not formulations that are most important. He writes 5 to 6 articles per day. He's just an amazing person, amazingly talented. And then Kali, our entertainer, radio host. You can put him in front of any camera. He's extremely creative. He does video formats just like that. And he writes all the stories revolving around pop culture, sports, hip-hop. And Leah Kosch, I got her from HuffPro Germany. She's the team leader. She is the one who is mainly responsible for the ideas, and she's also responsible for making money. So I showed you what the strengths of our team are. I hope that you will not woo them away from us. So we are so happy with our team, and they are happy to work with us. They love what they do. They love their job. They love their task. They love the brand. And you do not stand any chance to woo them away. Just another thing. What makes this team structure so special? So, you might not fathom that 3 of them have already been on our team of Stern.de. I'm firmly convinced that for new products, you do not only need new people. It might serve you well, but very often there is a lot of slumbering potential amongst your own ranks, and you have to develop the right momentum to let them shine. When we knew that we would do Neon under the umbrella of Stern.de, I said that I would like to hire 3 people internally, and 12 out of 65 applied for this job, and they went totally crazy. Then I went for 3 people, but there was a host of good ideas, and I tried to come up with a program, and I wanted to give the others a chance, and that I came up with traineeship programs for 3-month traineeships for these applicants. So we have a build editor, a visual designer editor, and she created a totally new world of colors. A video colleague also got a few months in order to come up with a 20-part series dealing with the sexuality of women and doing podcasts and videos on this topic. And due to this new construction, this became possible. So in order for it to work out well, you have seen that everything is very impulsive, very creative, a lot is going on, but we also need sound structures which had to be adapted. So we devised another a blueprint for a different shift system. So we tried to come up with a novel approach. We do not have a video or social media section. We have 5 editors who can do anything, or at least have to understand anything. So we work in 3 different shifts. There's the current shift, the experimentation shift, and people working on the current news shift delve into current news topics, and they have to come up with 3 articles per day. Then we have the long reads shift. So we can send people to reportage, short stories are written, we do interviews. This is absolute luxury that we afford ourselves in a digital newsroom, but we afford this luxury, and we have been very successful. And then last but not least, and we also want to do it for Stern.de, this is the experimentation shift. Once a month, a Neon editor gets 1 week in order to delve into a totally new topic. This is like a sprint. First of all, there is a tenet. Then the editor has to develop a dummy product, and then we decide on it. It might be that it doesn't work for neon.de or for stern.de, but we want to try out these things, and at the end of the day, we want to confront these products with our readers. And totally amazing things came out of it. Selbstbewusst, podcast stories, Insta stories, Berlinale Film Festival formats, also a party series or a neon drink that we dreamt up. Where do we stand after all this? So we have been working for 5.5 months, but we are not standing anywhere, so we are hanging in the air, so to speak. We are jumping, we are flying over the last 5 months. We reached 9 million visits per month, very stable growth. Rainer Esser said that everything is rosy for Zeit, everything is rosy for us as well. I think they have 2.3 million visits with about a team of 20. We reached this excellent result with a team of 5. 1.3 is also a very good value, and is exactly the value that develops even more in a more stable manner. And all works quite well. Stefan grinned at me once again when I told him. He said, well, I'm going to bankroll you even more. And in June, we will be able to double the team members. And we are currently looking for applicants, so we will continue with the wild party, with the wild world we're living in, and we are totally looking forward to the future. So, and we hope that the brand will survive well into the future. Thank you very much.